In this tutorial, I'm going to be answering a person's question. Actually, I've had several comments from people asking me, how do I get a particular tone that I get when I'm playing? It's a nice compliment. I'm not sure I get it from any particular technique I'm using. It may just be that a lot of times I'm using a guitar that plugs in and I've got a rather nice tone on my amp or my PA system. But there are certain things you can do with the right hand, for example. Grow nails, don't grow nails and file them a certain way, play the strings at a certain angle that will produce a slightly better tone than if you just sort of pluck away without giving it much thought. And I did have a request from a gentleman who asked me, could I try and give a detailed description of what it is I'm actually doing. So Bernard, for you, here we go. When trying to produce a really good tone when you're playing Spanish or classical guitar, there are a couple of factors involved. The first being the issue of whether you're going to have fingernails or not on your right hand. Now, I grow my fingernails out not too long, and I'll show you in a minute how you treat your nails and how you file them and all that stuff. But there are some guitarists that don't believe in using nails at all. They're probably in the minority, I would imagine. However, I have heard guitar players using their right hand fingers with no nails, and they do get a really good tone. And I think the reason why is the fingertips without nails will often produce calluses when you're playing notes. I've always found that a little bit odd to do that, but as I've said, I have heard some guitarists that sound really good. Now, what I would suggest is if you're going to grow nails, don't grow them too long. And although I will not claim to be an authority on this whatsoever, and there are many approaches to doing this, and I'm sure there are umpteen tutorials on YouTube on how to grow your nails, how to file them and everything, I'm just going to give you my impression as to what I do, because I often get comments from people saying, oh, what a great tone you've got. How do you get that tone and all that sort of thing. So whether or not this will help, I don't know, but here's what I do. I grow my nails slightly. This is going to suddenly zoom up into view. I use some emery paper to file them, and I typically file them straight. Nice little scratchy sound, like chalk on a blackboard, which no one uses now. I'll file them straight across and sort of underneath. But the key is to get the end corner like this and file it so it's sort of rounded off there. So when you hit the string, part of the fleshy part of your finger and part of the nail combine to make a nice tone. Like that. Now, there are really two ways of playing a string with your right hand. The thumb, before I mention it, the thumb, again, you should file it the same way. But both with the thumb and the fingers here, there are two ways of playing a string. One is using what's called free stroke, and the other is called rest stroke. Now, free stroke is simply where you play the string, really just plucking the string. But to get a nice tone with the free stroke, what you need to do is try not to pluck the string with your finger sort of upwards towards the palm of your hand. You'll get a much thinner tone than if you play the string in parallel, like that. Here's one with the middle finger, and the third finger. So don't play upwards, play this way, and usually you power the finger from the upper part. You're not sort of just bending the end part of your fingertips. So it's like that and like that. Again with the thumb, same thing, just come out that way. On to the next part. The rest stroke is when you play the string and your finger comes to a rest directly on the string at the back of it. So if I'm playing the second string, I come to a rest on the third, like that. And that will give you quite a sort of projected, punchy tone, which is very useful in certain passages of classical guitar. The other thing, I'm trying to think, I'm sorry I'm saying a lot here, but got it. It's come to me now. The other thing is you want to get your free stroke pretty well as powerful. It won't be quite possible, but you want to get it as projected and as powerful as your rest stroke. So there I came fairly close to that. One other thing, how to hold your right hand. Generally never do this. I know I've seen guitar players that sound great that do that, but it restricts the motion of your hands if you're playing anything that's quite tricky, like a tremolo with this hand. And they'll go like that. And when your thumb plays, make sure it doesn't go inside your fingers. I've seen some guitarists hold their wrist like that with the thumb right out there. I think you have to be built a certain way genetically to do that, to find that comfortable. However, here what I'm doing is thumb, index, middle, third. I just hold my hand where it's the most comfortable. I can't get into this whole motion like that, which some guitar players do. So that's just a basic general look at how to get a good tone, or my version of how to get a good tone. As I said, there are probably lots of people giving tutorials on how to do this that probably know a lot more than I do, but that's my version of it. So good luck with your tone, and see you next time.